Coming up on this episode of The Power of Real Estate.
The power of relationship, the power of following up, just the power of taking the time to spread some kindness and to touch people that you've helped or that mean something to you.
Michelle, are you ready?
Shake it, Jimmy.
Oh, goodness. She spent over 20 years as a successful realtor and realtor coach, recipient of over 40 sales, leadership, and literary awards from the legendary Music Row in Nashville. This is The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.
Hello, everybody. All right. Today's going to be a great show. Producer Jimmy. You know, I love this, too, because, you know, most of the time, you don't know ahead of time what we're going to talk about. So you don't.
Most of the time, you don't. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Well, I did something I thought I would never do.
Can you give me a clue? Do I get to guess?
It's not hooking.
Oh, well, that was not going to be my guess, but okay.
Yeah, right. Because you know me. What would it be? What do you think?
Well, give me a, I mean, narrow it down the
It's
topic.
business related.
Well, I can't say you started your own business because you did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
You're debt free.
Well, I've been debt free.
Oh. All right.
That's a whole nother story. Okay, so
Michelle Ramsey.
You know what? Yeah, you know, that's a really good guess, though. I like that. But not only is it something I'd never done, but I had always said I would never do. Ooh.
You drank alcohol.
No.
Okay.
All right. So I joined, and I don't even know if you've ever heard of it. It's called.
No way. You didn't join a gym.
Oh, yeah, I did that. That was a couple months ago. And that was for the first time, too.
But did you go?
Yeah, I've been a bunch.
Okay. I'm going to need some selfies to prove it.
Yes, right there. No photographic evidence. All right. So I joined Send Out Cards. Have you ever heard of Send Out Cards?
No.
Okay. So here's the deal. We talk about touching your database all the time, right? So there's been so much stuff that I have experienced, I've learned that's been going on. So for 3 months now, I've been with Send Out Cards. I think what really kind of got me to thinking about it was my real estate selling professional, my RESP national designation course. In the second day, the last time I taught it here in the Nashville area in Brentwood, we got to talking with the class, and we got to talking about who uses which resources and apps and all that kind of stuff, which tools to help them stay in touch or just touch their database. And one thing that was very clear was that nobody really had something that they used consistently. But it really got the wheels spinning and got me to thinking. And I had brought some cards that I had received that day. I brought those that I had received from other people that were with Send Out Cards and showed those off and talked about them and whatever.
Now, this is digital format, right?
No, you get a card in the mail.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah. And so I had received different cards over the last few years. And so I brought those in. Again, never in a million years thinking I would Send Out Cards. Not only not thinking I wouldn't, but I'd always said and declared over and over for about 8 years now that I would never join it. So
Why'd you hate them so much?
It wasn't that I hated
For 8 years, you declared you would not
Yeah.
join them.
Okay,
That's not a like friendship.
Yeah. So here's what happened. So I, used to run Keller Williams Nashville, and I had a class one day, and I let a lady come in that was with Send Out Cards at the time. Couldn't tell you her name. Don't even remember. Don't know if she's still in it. I have no idea. But she came in, and while I was speaking, she did a great job. Brought lunch, all that. Sponsored the class. She, got done talking, and I'm teaching my class, and she took a snapshot of me and put it on a card and sent me a note. And when I got the card, the photo of me on the front cover sounded like a great idea, but it was blurry. And so I'm like, I would never do this. Like, it just seemed like it was lacking quality. So fast forward about a year ago, I meet this woman who kept reaching out to me and, had a number of people that I know that are with Send Out Cards that would send me cards. And so what happened was I got to know her. But she sent me a card. I had gone, I went to the White House last year.
Yeah.
And so she had taken photos that I had posted of that trip. And she had put them on this trifold card and sent it to me, and with some gift also. So when I get home one night and I open up the box and there's this card, I literally pull the card out, and when I open it up, I literally gasped and put, like, I could not believe somebody had, first of all, it was a beautiful card. I mean, it was pictures of me on there. Hello. But I'm kidding.
Were they blurry this time?
No.
Because if they were, it's on you.
That's right. Exactly. No. So what happened was I literally teared up. And I just was like, oh, my goodness, I couldn't believe somebody had taken the time. And I knew that they had to have come from Facebook because, you know, where else would they have come? How else would she have gotten those photos? And they were all photos that, you know, that had me in them and that I had put on Facebook. So I knew that how she probably really got them. I just couldn't believe the thoughtfulness. Does that make sense? It was just the thought that was put into it.
Yeah.
So fast forward, you know, I'm showing off these cards. I got one of the most beautiful birthday cards from another friend earlier that year, so last year, January 2018. It was just absolutely gorgeous, and the lady had written the nicest stuff in the card, and so I'd shown that card off quite a bit too. And you know, we got Flash Moore, our doggy, and Flash Moore. And I'd taken a picture one day of Flash Moore in the car with Dylan in the back seat. I'd taken a picture of them and put it on Facebook and, you know, put whatever. And somebody took that photo and sent me a card, and it said, just because who wouldn't want this much cuteness on a card, and thought it was really cute. So again, I found myself keeping all these cards. I hadn't thrown away a single card. And so I thought, well, that's interesting. Not only had I kept them, but I kept them together, and I put them all in what we call my special box. So all of us, I bought 4 boxes. And so my kids, my husband, and I all have a box. And that is what we put special things in that we get. So whether it's a card from somebody or a note that's got something special, whatever it might be, you give, you know, whatever. If it's something that you want to hold on to and not just discard or whatever, then we put it in your special box.
Does Flash have a special box?
No, he doesn't. Flash Moore does not, but that's a good point. Yeah, Flash Moore needs them. Yeah. So anyway, what happened was we ended up, you know, I started recognizing my own behavior, because to me it was like, well, is this really going to feel genuinely nice and personal? Because to me, I thought, well, this isn't going to feel personal. And so what happened was I joined. And let me back up too. The other thing was, you know me, I really see myself as somebody who gets up and does stuff. I don't just sit around talking about it. It's like, well, let's get to going. You know, we talked about doing podcasting with purpose. You know, a couple months later, we're doing an event, you know, and got people in a room, and we're teaching them how to launch a podcast. Well, this was one of the things that had been starting to bother me was I was starting to recognize that I would be on Facebook and see where somebody maybe had a birthday, or maybe they got a new pet, or they had a baby, or somebody died that really meant something to them. And I would think, oh, I need to send them a sympathy card, or, oh, I need to send them a, you know, congratulatory card. And I had all these cards, but I wasn't sending them. I wasn't following through.
Yeah.
And it was really weighing on me. So here I would be on Facebook or just throughout the day, or talk to somebody and find that out and think, oh, I need to do that. And I saw myself not following through. So I thought, okay, well, you know, what's the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And so I thought, okay, I'm not seeing any different results, but I haven't done anything different.
But now you're normally pretty good with follow through. So why do you think this tripped you up?
Well, I think sometimes you have to have a system. You have to have a tool in place, and that's what I started thinking is, what's the deal here? And so I didn't have an app. This has an app now. They have Send Out Cards has an app, so it texts me or alerts me, sends me a notification that, hey, you've got this event. This person has this event coming up. And so I thought, okay, if I sit down and really commit to this, you know, would this be what would really help me? So I sat down with one of the women, and I said, you know, these are the things and the reasons why I've always said that I would never do this. And she said, oh, well, the blurry photos, we've now put some things into place. The company has put some things into place now to keep things like that from going out, because it really represents not only the company but all of us.
Yeah.
And so they've put some quality control checks in place. And it was like, really? The other thing was they send out gifts. Well, I was getting gifts from people, and they were really nice gifts. And so I was a little bit surprised about that. You know, it was like, okay, I got some brownies and they tasted great and fresh. And so I was like, okay, this is a little surprising. And so it was just a number of things that had happened over the last few years. So it was all very interesting to me. So then I decide I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to do this. I'm going to just try it. I'm going to do this, and I'm really going to do it. So I started every Saturday spending a couple of hours here or there. Like I had a training call with the lady that sponsored me and got me on board and taught me a bunch. And so we spent about a 2-hour webinar or go-to webinar kind of thing where she taught me how to do this and that. And so I did it all, and we'd send some cards, a couple cards, and then I had it down. So then I started spending the time building the database. So I had made a list of all the, a number of people that came to mind. I looked up in tax records people's closing dates, because even though I don't really sell a lot now, I still have people that those raving fans that recommend me, and if they called and said, hey, I want to sell my home, if I told them I wasn't going to sell their home, they'd look at me like I had 3 heads. So I was like, okay, you know how it is. You sell your house, I'm going to list your home and take care of you, because I got to make sure you're taken care of, because you're special, right?
I've been told that.
Yes, you are. And so, but there's just people like that in my life, that I always take care of. Well, I looked up anniversary dates, and lo and behold, somebody who is a builder, I've sold numerous deals for him. He bought his home through me, all this stuff. His 5th year anniversary was coming up, or home anniversary. So I send them, download photos, because I'm friends with them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram. And I download photos of their children and their family at the home. So like there was a picture, it looked like at Easter a couple of years ago, where they're sitting on the hearth of the fireplace and the 3 kids. And there's another photo of him holding the kids on the front porch, and just obviously at the home. And I sent them this letter with some photos, and talked about how hard it was to narrow it down to which photos to even use in the card, because they're so stinking cute. And, kids are cute, the husband and wife gorgeous. She sent me a text message the night that they got back from being out of town, and saw the card and the cookies that I'd sent, and said that, that was just so thoughtful and just a beautiful card, and thank you so much, how kind. And then the next morning, I received a text message from him, the builder. And, again, just, he wrote a testimonial, a story in my book, Selling Simplified. They came to my book release party. They've recommended friends and family. He's done numerous transactions with me, like just a great guy. And he texted me and said, we got your very kind and thoughtful card. And he said, what an ultimate professional that you are. And so, again, it's like, I've had 3 people call me crying, get text messages.
All men, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I've had 3 people call me crying about the cards, things that are going on in their life. In fact, I just had a text message from a woman who, she lost her mother, and I met her in person. She's a realtor. Sent her a card, and it had a really sweet photo of her mother. And her mother had gotten, I don't know if it was dementia or Alzheimer, but she was holding this little doll in the hospital bed, and I'd put it on the front of the photo, and got private Facebook messages from other agents. I have a friend, a lady that I've met. She's not really a close friend or anything, but she lost her son a couple of years ago, and the anniversary came up, and so I sent her a card and a couple of photos on the card of her son, and just took the time to dig through her Facebook page and find a couple of things like that. So, I had always thought it wouldn't be very personal. It turns out it's extremely personal.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and I've had realtors call me and say, how did you do this? I had an agent that I was coaching who happened to be in that RESP class, by the way, and she said, how did you do this? And I had sent her a congratulatory card. I was coaching her at the time. She earned a top producing award with her office. The office put a photo of all the top 10 agents. I put that photo on the cover of the card, and then I wrote her a note on the inside congratulating her and telling, and sharing that keep doing what you're doing, because at this rate, this is just the first of many accolades and awards that you're going to earn. And she, on a Saturday morning, got home and saw the card and said, oh my goodness, I just saw the card you sent me, how, and so she already signed up. Like it just is one of those things where it helps. They push you notifications. And so once you build it, it's done. I have absolutely loved it. I've spent, an hour on a Saturday here and there doing it. Saturday is just good for me. It is amazing. The power of relationship, the power of following up, just the power of taking the time to spread some kindness and to touch people that you've helped or that mean something to you. I had a mortgage lender call me and say, you're just such the example for me. And it was her anniversary, her 30th anniversary. And I'd sent her and her husband a card with a gift. But the point is, touch people. And if you want to look at send out cards, you can always go to realestatecoachingsimplified.com and then click on the resources button and go and check out send out cards. You can send it from that page. There are a few different links on there. You can look at the pricing. You can look at all the stuff. And you can also look at sending a card for free on me. So take a look at that and see what you think. But you're probably, many of you have probably already heard about send out cards. I'm excited about it because it's a tool that absolutely works, and you can actually put in the home anniversaries even. So this is getting a little long, but I just had to share that it doesn't get better than that. When you got people calling you, thanking you, and everything I thought send out cards was, it wasn't, and everything I thought it wasn't, it is. So there you go. What do you think?
Send out cards. You're a fan.
Yes. And
you like them. You like them just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's a tool. It's at the end of the day, you got to pick out which tools you're going to put in your tool belt to help you succeed. And so many times, real estate agents help somebody buy or sell or build or invest in real estate, and then they never look back after the closing. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the biggest things that we hear so many times from people. It's like, oh, yeah, I use my agent such and so, and I haven't heard from him or her in 3 years, since the closing. And guess what they think? They think, well, they really didn't care because they hadn't even followed up. Yep. So there you go. It's like, well, there you go. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So make sure you show that you care. All right, guys. See you next time on The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.
Realtors, if you're ready to jumpstart your business, Michelle has your realtor coaching covered at realestatecoachingsimplified.com. Everything from coaching online teachings to in-person programs. Join us next time for The Power of Real Estate with Michelle Moore.